Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Baseball this summer, these kids would give an appendage for one inning, one at bat,
just to get out
to
there.
show themselves.
Just to get out there.
Right. So it's not a. It's not that they've changed. It's just that it sounds like.
And the thing about it, Rod, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I just want to get into this lastly. The thing about it is, with the new rule changes this year, you're allowed to have two quarterbacks on the field. So, but you can't just get to that instantly. You got to work up and you got to sell different plays and packages. But you can't even do those fun things if Trace doesn't even want to get out there and do his role.
Wow. Since you're here, you're so valuable for the analysis. You know that. What'd you think of Adam Bighill laying out Shea Pedersen on the last play of the game Friday night?
Clean as could be. Clean as could be, man. Clean as could be. That is 100% on the quarterback. You watched the Calgary game last night. Jake Mayer was in the exact same scenario, and he got rid of the ball. That is not on Adam Bighill. As a defender, we are taught, and we are going to hit the quarterback any legal chance we get. That was not a penalty. And I'm not even going to get onto the word bounty because I don't know if your fans are ready enough to hear the real truth. But look, defensive players are trying to take out the quarterback. And if the quarterback is going to do something stupid, like hold it, and when you're up 2 scores in the last possession of the game, well, he's going to pay the price. Adam Bighill is doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
But the team has been bad. Like, we had fun moments, but they still lost. So I think coming up to the deadline, they probably are going to do something. I would assume sell.
Well, winning is still important. You hear that? Winning is still important. You can go to the games and have fun and catch home run balls and eat hot dogs, but it would be nice to win.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, we're flying high, says producer Clark. Welcome to the RP Show, everybody, on a Tuesday, July 23rd. Yeah, in the year of our Lord, 2024. Broadcasting live from the Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. I'm one half of the show. Moose is the better half. He's out in Toronto. Let's bring him in the big smoke. Hey, Moose, what's the word? What's the word in Canada's largest city? If you didn't know, they'll tell you. What's the word out there?
Yeah, the word is it's the middle of summer. Everybody, as we talk about with Clark, everybody's left this city, all the hockey people, to head into, as they call it, cottage country around here.
Yep.
And so, a little break from the baseball action till the weekend, and
tonight.
We just chill. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, the hockey people they're not answering their phones. So I'll tell you this, when I do hear from a hockey person, I'm incredibly grateful. That must mean that I'm real important if I hear from a hockey person in the summertime, because they're normally off. The guests today, by the way, are Chris Tymofichuk from CFL Fans Fight Cancer. He's attempting to set a Guinness World Record, and it sounds like he's going to do it. He's joining us later on this hour. It's a great story. And in our continuing series of the Western Canadian Baseball League Roundup, we'll be joined by the owner of the Fort McMurray Giants, Dutch Iannetti. They are home tonight to the Edmonton Prospects, and we got the owner on later on in hour 2. That's the guest. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please? Because I'm excited to go.
How about that?
Kevin the Medium has showed up. He has dried his eyes and stopped crying from his BC Lions losing in Calgary on Sunday. He's seeing clear enough to write us and say good morning, Darren. So that's from Kevin the Medium from Rangeland RV in Calgary. Hey, Kev, we love you. The big story, we do it every day. And unless you're living under a rock, we're going to open, as we always do, with the big story. For me, it's the Olympics. The plans for the opening ceremony of the 2024 Paris Games are unlike any other. It's the first ever Summer Olympic opening ceremony not in a stadium. You know, Darren, the Olympics have been going on since longer, I think, than before Christ was born. I think, right? Or shortly after. The organizers are turning one of the world's most famous waterways, the River Seine, into the world's biggest theatrical stage. Instead of walking into a stadium, a 4-mile-long flotilla of nearly 100 boats will carry thousands of athletes from more than 200 countries past hundreds of thousands of spectators seated on the banks of the river. Well, now I got to tune in for that. I mean, I'm down. Our only home game with the Millers is Friday night, so I don't know what the timing of the opening ceremonies, but it's over in Paris, so I got to imagine it'll be on in the afternoon here. I haven't looked into it yet. It's only Tuesday. But yesterday's vote finished this. Our poll question was, are you excited for the Olympics? And 64% said no. I think that's going to change, Darren, as we get closer to the weekend. And as a matter of fact, I voted no, because as Serena says, if it's not hell yes, it's hell no. And I'm not hell yes excited about the Olympics. But Rick Regan clearly is. But by the end of the week, I think more people will be. For sure, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the same thing. It's kind of like, we're at a low simmer right now. Not really that excited. There's other things going on. But once we get to Friday, and I know the Olympics will start with some events, I think as early as Wednesday. But when we get to Friday and the opening ceremonies, the excitement will be there.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Bomber Boy has written in, and he says, the athletes are complaining that their beds are made from cardboard. No extracurriculars allowed, says Bomber Boy. I've been around sports a long time. I've known a lot of Olympians. Those athletes' villages are very active. If they're young humans, what do you think's going to happen?
They don't need cardboard.
We didn't back in the day. Anyways, they're complaining already. Oh, boy. Please don't bring me down. Bomber Boy, it's not you. It's not you. But you understand, we are in the age of a generation of narcissists. If it's not going their way, they complain, and they're upset, and it's an affront. What you do with a narcissist, just you ignore them. I've had a lot of experience with it. So I'm not going on any further with what the athletes are saying about the beds. Be happy you're there. Moving on to point 2. On Friday, LeBron James will carry the U.S. flag. But first, he carried the U.S. men's basketball team. Again, LeBron scored the final 11 points for the Americans down the stretch last night, and the 4-time reigning Olympic gold medalist held off World Cup champion Germany 92-88 in London on Monday night in their final tune-up before the game. So a couple funny things, because what we do here, listen, everybody's gone pee-picking crazy out there. Everybody's pissed off all the time. Let's just have fun for 2 hours. That's what we do here every day on Game Plus Television, Key Radio, and streaming. Darren, number one, I'm watching the Sports Center this morning. I told you about it. And the anchor, the female anchor goes, it's not her fault. But she goes, I'll be really interested in following the USA basketball team this year at the Olympics. But not cheering for them. Just following. She's so afraid that anybody in Canada would think you might cheer for the USA basketball team. Cheer for whoever the hell you. Why is this such a damn thing? But beyond that, I don't know why in Canada is a terrible thing to be pro-U.S. in anything. I don't know. Get over it, everybody. She shouldn't have to be scared to say that she might want to cheer for LeBron. And hope that he does well, number one. And number two, what sports are you interested in? That's for everybody. That's for all of our audience, like Chris in the Bronx, who watches every day and texts me about the show topic. Mine are these. Basketball. Is it number one? I don't know. I really like the rowing. That I was in the dragon boat racing. That is damn hard. That's exciting and really hard work. Those guys and gals in those teams are working so hard. I like the rowing. I am oddly fascinated by table. Always have at the Olympics. You? What are your? That's 3 for me. How about you?
Yeah. Classically, I think like most, love the track events, love the 100 meters, the 200 meters. Those are the 2 signature events, I think, in the Olympics. Canada's going to be really good in basketball, so that's good. I like the water sports. The rowing, is big. The rowing is big. It's very, very good. Big fan of that. And you know what? I've become a fan of the decathlon. I've become a real fan of the decathlon. So looking forward to that.
Bruce Jenner, the world's greatest decathlete ever. You know that, right? Caitlyn Jenner. Now, shout out Ryan in upstate New York. He's tweeting at us. Thank you, Ryan, for the support as always. I had to go and Google the list of events at the Olympics this year because they're not the same every year. Can I say the LA Olympics in 4 years are going to be more interesting? Don't! Because there's going to be baseball. There's going to be flag football, right? America. But I don't know. Am I going to sit in front of the television for 10 hours a day and watch? Probably not, but who knows, Darren? As I say in the recovery world, you can't schedule feelings. Maybe come next week, I'm going to want to sit in front of the television for 10 hours a day. I just don't really have the time or the interest anymore. But anyways, I want to know from the audience, what are the sports you're most interested in? I see that we have a golf team over there. Do we know anybody on the team? Do you know anybody on the Canadian golf team? Because I do not.
The Canadian golf team is going to be good. Brooke Henderson on the women's side. I think Elena Sharp is the second. Yeah, so I think she has a chance. I mean, I think there's a chance that she could be the flag bearer. There was a real battle for Canada's golf team on the men's side, and I think it's Brooke's gonna be on the men's side or on the women's side for sure. And now I'm drawing a blank on the men's because it went right down to the wire. Someone's gonna have to pull it up because it was between Corey Connors, Adam Hadwin, Mackenzie Hughes, Taylor Pendrith. They were all in the mix, and I think it was Corey Connors that got one of the two spots for Canada. I can't exactly remember the second.
You're forgiven. It's okay. What we do here is we just spitball and we have fun. It's The View for sports fans, although somebody told me The View has been canceled. So I guess we are The View, period. You don't have to have all the answers. But this is the one thing that I love. I think I've made it clear after 1,301 shows now, this ain't Sports Center. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Dude, you know how many times in my life, 36 years in this perilous trade, I've had people come up to me and go, how do you not know that? You're supposed to be a sports guy. You know what you can do. For instance, like I got my mind on baseball. I'm a play-by-play broadcaster in baseball. This show where we stick to hockey, football, and baseball largely. I'm never going to know what's going on in golf, so just stop it. And this, I was thinking of this. When I was at the All-Star game for the WCBL in Okotoks on the weekend, everybody was talking about the Fort McMurray Stadium and how beautiful it is. And they're like, Rod, have you been up there? I'm like, I was up there, but for football. Because as you know, in the CFL preseason, Sask played the Edmonton Eskimos and Chris Jones at Shell Field in Fort McMurray. But I went in there. You know what it's like? Everybody in sports is just tunnel on their own job, or at least they should be. I wasn't looking around to see the facilities. People don't understand. It's not a holiday. It's not vacation time, and you're not there to go sightseeing. We're there to do a job. I didn't see the damn baseball stadium. Apparently, it's right beside the football field. And a couple of weeks ago, I was, as you know, sitting on the porch, sipping Kool-Aid, lemonade, actually, with Torrey Gurley, who played in that game, the former Browns and Packers wide receiver. He played in that stadium, but not in the game I called. He went up there with the Argos. He's like, Rod, that was the hottest I've ever been in my life. I'm like, Torrey, there's no way. No, there's no way Fort McMurray, Alberta, at any time in the year is hotter than where you're from, Columbia, South Carolina. There's no way. I'll tell you right now. Starting to sound like my dad when I told him once that I made it from Milestone to Regina in 9 minutes. My dad's like, there's no way. No, it's not physically possible. But Tori said, well, maybe it was the turf. Maybe it's because it was the brand new turf because my feet were boiling and melting. I said, you might have an argument there. Because as you know, it's 10 degrees hotter on the turf, right? Especially new turf. I could get that. He said he was dying playing there more than anywhere else. Anyways, Randy from Winnipeg writes in, he says, swimming, track and field, and basketball are his. Carlos in Indianapolis says there's a difference between cheering on a national team versus a club/franchise team. I guess. BW in Edmonton says, I'm taking a break from cutting the grass before I hit the highway tomorrow. Too bloody hot. Already 24 degrees Celsius. We're getting to the Calgary Arena thing. So hang on, stop. I'm going to dip out. I'll invite everybody to continue to comment in with what sports they'll be watching the most. But we're going to move on. Folks, make your birthday unforgettable at Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Book your birthday party with us for a fun-filled celebration packed with sports, games, and endless excitement. Visit GoldenTicketSportsCenter.com to reserve your spot. Point 3, the Toronto Blue Jays. 9.5 games back of an American League wildcard playoff berth. Open a 3-game series tonight against the visiting Tampa Bay Rays. Jays send righty Jose Berrios to the mound, while righty Sean Armstrong counters for the 50-50 Rays. Meanwhile, Teoscar Hernandez, winner of last week's MLB Home Run Derby and former Blue Jay, had 3 hits and 3 RBIs last night, including a go-ahead single in the 8th, as the Dodgers extended their win streak to 4 by beating the San Francisco Giants 3-2. Poll question today is this. I agree with producer Clark that it might be not the best poll question because it's the answer we feel is a given, but it's what should the Blue Jays do in advance of the MLB trade deadline? Buy, sell, or nothing. And before you all vote on sell because they've been the biggest disappointment in the majors this year, I will just throw out that Steve Phillip on MLB Network or from MLB Network said on SportsCenter last night that he wouldn't trade anybody. He would try to squeeze out as much of these current guys that they have while they're still under contract. I think that's why he's on TV and not a GM anymore, Darren. You know what I mean? Why? Let's let them walk for nothing when their contracts are up rather than trade them now. That's what he said. And then somewhere else I saw I would trade everybody but Vladdy. So I saw an analyst and a pundit say that. And I'm like, well, wait, I'm a baseball guy now, Darren, so I have an opinion. Why would you do that? Why would you leave Vladdy on an island? Dumb. They're assets. Get something for depreciating assets before they're worthless. That's what I think. So I'm saying sell. I think any sane person would say sell. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you lean towards sell, but I'll make a case for doing nothing and staying pat because if this is if this team is such a big disappointment, it means that we like the roster and that the expectations are higher and that they're just not meeting those expectations. So you need to find a way to get the most out of the roster. And to me, that's the management, the coaching and the management. And that's where I think the issues are with this roster right now. I think there's some assets. Garcia in the bullpen has drawn some interest. I think if you have interest, though, in key guys and contenders want pieces, I think you should absolutely listen and probably look at selling because you're just not getting it done with this group right now.
It's a fun debate, and no need for anybody to get upset, including myself, because that's what sports talk is for. As I've said many years in this business, we all can agree on where we want to go. We can't all agree on how to get there. Punching into the GPS, we want to win. Okay, there's 4 different roads to get there. Which one you want to take? Nobody can agree on the same one. That's the way that it goes. I appreciate John in Edmonton writing in. He says the town of Jasper, Alberta has been evacuated because of wildfires. I will say thoughts, prayers, Godspeed to the people of Jasper, Alberta, that beautiful resort community west of Edmonton. It's unbelievable. Everybody's talking about the smoke here. It's bothering them, and I get it. But you can rest assured somebody always has it worse than you. And right now, when you're asked to flee your home, whatever we can do for the people of Jasper, you let us know. Again, thoughts and prayers are with them. That's the most important thing going on today. We got NFL notes, NHL notes, whatever you'd all like to talk about. Chris Tymofichuk and Dutch Ionetti coming up. We're live on Game Plus Television, Key Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
We tell you every day at this time to reward your love of movies. I think tonight's the night. I'm thinking it is that I check out Twisters at Landmark Cinemas. Of course, I'm a Landmark Extras Rewards member, and we invite you to do that as well. LandmarkCinemas.com. That will get you invites to exclusive screenings, special events, plus, of course, free movies and concession items. What are you waiting for? 3 programs to choose from. Check them out at LandmarkCinemas.com. Let's please bring in the Moose, the Moose, the Moose. From the Blue Jays story, they're not quite done on that yet. Pedersen writes in on YouTube and says, last offseason, the team needed a heavy bat, and when that didn't happen, the air left the room. How about they could have augmented at last year's trade deadline, let alone the offseason, and they didn't. And their bats were silent in the playoffs. They got swept by the Twins. We are moving on from the Blue Jays talk, but Darren, you and I have talked about it with Windows. Maybe there has been a book written about Windows. I haven't seen it if there is, and I'm not talking about the old computer program. I'm talking about Windows in life. If you don't jump through that window, if you don't take the opportunity when the window's open, it closes and you're done. It ain't coming back. And for the Blue Jays, guys, wind this up and I'll get your take. I think the window's closed. the kids. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Kevin, Vladdy, Bo. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Somehow or another, they muffed it. Windows closed. What do you think?
Feels a lot like the Jays I grew up watching. You know, there was some great players. We remember a lot of them. I mean, good pitchers. Roy Halladay, Roger Clemens was there for a while. You know, a lot of good pitchers, a lot of good players. You know, Carpenter was there. They had Sean Green in the outfield at times. They had, you know, Delgado for a while, Alex Gonzalez, shortstop. They had a lot of great players, and they always failed to match the expectation. Always. They had Cy Young pitchers, and they had All-Stars and Gold Gloves and all the rest, but just not enough to bring it together to win enough games. And this feels like that.
Yeah. Was Roger Clemens at that Joe Carter event you were at? Was he there? Did you say he was? There? Is he as big a human? I've never been around him. Is he a massive human being?
He's a big boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just here with the Western Canadian Baseball League, it's a lot of collegiate NCAA athletes. I'm like, these are large men. I mean, I kind of always, but I mean real big. Like in the NBA, you got 7-footers, but they're built like a toothbrush. I've done enough events with Dwayne Ward and Devon White and even Robbie Alomar. Robbie's not huge, but they're thick. They're so just big human beings. Anyways, to point 4 as we continue in the quick 6, we'll see if something tickles your fancy, everybody, that you all want to comment in, although they have a lot of, somebody wrote in and said, what events is Canada expected to excel in? I don't know. What do I look like, Brian Williams? I don't know. We'll figure that out as we get closer to the Olympics. NFL notes, Joe Burrow and his surgically repaired wrist have been cleared for contact, and the Cincinnati Bengals star quarterback's ready to go for the opening of training camp on Wednesday. Burrow was sidelined last season when he suffered a torn ligament in his right wrist in the 10th game, and the season went. Meanwhile, Jordan Love won't be practicing with the Green Bay Packers as long as the quarterback's negotiations on a contract extension remain unsolved. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said Monday that Love reported to camp last week, but wouldn't be working out until a deal is reached. So we'll see how long that goes. I will tell you this, it is not overstated. The football people will tell you, any practice you miss, any rep you miss as a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, because I would still consider Jordan Love a young quarterback. This is what his second full year starting, is almost catastrophic. This ain't good. And what I have written here, Darren, in all caps, is Aaron Rodgers. Again, I'm watching SportsCenter. I do it every morning. It is a pleasure of mine just to see what everybody's talking about, what's going on in the world. And I see Aaron Rodgers being a diva again. And 2 very close friends of mine, Torrey Gurley and John Ryan, both played with him, and they say he's a great guy. And maybe that's the case, probably is, but I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers, and camp hasn't even opened up yet. What are your NFL stories here on opening week of training camps?
Jordan Love's a big one, as I think, you know, at least 20 more teams opened up camp today. He's going to not reset the market, but he's going to be a player who's going to look for $50 million a season or north of that. It is crazy to think, you know, in just his second year as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, it's a big gamble. But he was 6-2 down the stretch, I believe, you know, going to the playoffs. Looked really good against the Cowboys in the playoff game. You know, not quite as good against San Francisco. But it's a small sample size to really invest a lot of your future and a lot of money in on. But he's in a good spot. And then they're already talking about Dak's contract. And now he'll easily be the highest paid quarterback at over $60 million. It'll come up after the deal, and his timing is all perfect. So to me, as camp opens on day 1, much of the storylines are about contract.
And that's the case every year, if you recall. But it's funny you bring up Dak. I could spend 2 hours a damn day talking NFL. Wouldn't be hard. We talk about a lot of things. Here's the thing that really bothers me. Because I said this yesterday, and I saw you nodding your head. You get it. The Cowboys are my team. They've always been my NFL team. They were my first team, and I've had no reason to go away from that. Yeah, I wear other teams' gear, but the team that I actively root for and follow is the Dallas Cowboys. And pro football is pro football. It don't matter the level. I know enough about the game of football that Dak Prescott, to me, doesn't have it. And if he had, they wouldn't be allowing him to go into the last year of his bridge contract that he's in right now. They wouldn't be allowing that to happen, Darren. And stick with me. And what it bothers me about the media now is that Troy Aikman, as you know, my guy, 3 Super Bowls with the Cowboys. And I listen to these shows on the Ticket down there, Ticket Radio in Dallas. That's the name of the station. Aikman's on there saying, Dak's got it. Dak's the guy. Dak's the guy. And I'm sitting there going, I don't see it. And you have to understand, Troy owns that town. I've spent a lot of time in Dallas. You get it. Troy owns Dallas. But I also think he doesn't want to be on the outs with the Cowboys either. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are you really, Troy, saying what you think about Dak? Because I don't agree. He's not the guy that's been winning in the playoffs. He's not the guy that even in the regular season with a minute to go is winning a game on a game-winning drive. He's not that guy. And in the media now, the media is so afraid to say anything and tick off the teams that I never really know if I can trust what I'm saying or hearing, and most times I can't. And that bothers me. You see that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Because if I'm sitting like, and Dak, I mean, I agree that he's going to be the highest paid guy. I do, because of the market. And you got to look at other players' contracts and, you know, what he does for the Cowboys in terms of them being competitive. He puts up the numbers. They're going to be a good team again. But when the chips are down, who do you trust, right? Like you say, those drives with 1 minute left, with a minute and a half to go, you know,
he's never done
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, even Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy's done. Like, you know, Jared Goff will do it in Detroit. Like, there's other guys. Aaron Rodgers, we know, has done this a number of times. It just really isn't been Dak. But it's also, I think, the Cowboys fearful that if you let him go to free agency and walk, there's no guarantee you're going to find another quarterback that can at least be good enough to give you those numbers in the regular season and give you a chance. So it's kind of like a tough game of chicken.
Welcome to pro sports, especially with this amount of money that's on the line. You found the Dallas Cowboys are the richest team in the league. They could buy somebody. They could afford to let Dak walk, whatever. It tells me, number one, he's still there. They've invested a lot of time into him. So they don't want to let him walk, yet you're not locking him up long term. And that's what you do with the guys that you love, like a Lamar Jackson or even, well, for sure, Patrick Mahomes. You don't let those guys go. Lamar Jackson, did you see the clip from John Harbaugh, their coach, saying he will go down in history as the greatest quarterback of all time? How did anybody standing around in that scrum keep a straight face? I get that you're trying to pump up your guy, but God, leave fairy tales to Disney, John. Okay, hockey. The Columbus Blue Jackets have hired Dean Evison to replace Pascal Vincent as their head coach. The former Kamloops Blazer, or was it Junior Oiler, will be the third Blue Jackets coach in as many seasons, not counting Babs. And another NHL note, the shovels have been in the ground, the dirt overturned, and construction has officially begun on the construction of the new $800 million arena for the NHL's Calgary Flames. Scotia Place is expected to be completed in 2027 and will have a capacity of 18,400. It will replace the Saddle Dome, which opened in 1983. I still hear Peter Marr's voice. The Olympic Saddle Dome. Warm, fuzzy feeling. Peter Marr's voice is like a cup of hot cocoa to me and to everybody. We talked about this yesterday. So here's the ongoing interactive comments we want from our viewers. Number one, what sports are you going to be interested in the Olympic? And now this one, number two, what's your favorite Saddle Dome memory? It just popped into my head yesterday when we were interviewing Mark Steven. I said, what's your best Saddle Dome memory? He said, the night Joe Nieuwendyk scored 5 goals. For me, I said, quite frankly, I said Game 7, our loss to the Hitmen in round 1 of the 0-1 playoffs. Pavel Brendel scoring in overtime killed us. And we had 46 days to wait until the start of the Memmer. 2012 World Juniors were great. On the high end, I was able to broadcast that on the Sportsnet radio network. That was a career highlight. Do you have a Saddledome memory? And for all our viewers, what's your favorite Saddledome memory? You been there much?
Yeah, I have two. I didn't go to hockey games growing up. We didn't go to games. We watched them on TV. So, became a young adult, and my first game in the Saddledome, I was invited through family friends into a suite. First game. And I wasn't in the suite in the back enjoying the luxuries. I was in the chairs, the seats right out front. They got 2 or 3 rows of seats hanging over the edge. And I can feel the first time the Flames scored. They're playing the LA Kings, and the flames shot out of the ceiling. I didn't know that was coming. And it is hot. And when you're up that high, you're right by it. I thought I was going to light on fire. So that was one. And the second was the first time I called a game in there. It was the Regina Pats and the Calgary Hitmen in the playoffs. Called the game on Access and Shaw cable television. So those are 2 great memories.
Yeah, it's such a great barn. But I also get you can't stand in the way of progress, and some things outlive their usefulness. See you in hour 2, Moose.
See you then.
It's going fast, but it's going great. And we've got a potential Guinness World Record future holder joining us next. You're not going to want to miss that. We'll be right back here on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch. Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown. Some girls don't like boys like me. With Shenandoah. You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road. Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center. I'll take the dirt road. Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca. 6 days on the road and I'm Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hey, everybody, the RP Show continues, proudly brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company out of Calgary. They have the perfect beer, craft beer for your enjoyment, featuring their Core 5, Good Company Hazy Pale Ale, Common Crown Crafted Lager, Journeyman IPA, Brewmaster Blonde Ale, and Coppersmith Brown Ale. Check them out. 28th Street Northeast is where they brew it. Can we please bring in Chris Tymofichuk? You'd have to be living under a rock to not know what this guy's doing. Longtime CFL guy here, Chris, so you're all over my timeline attempting to set a Guinness World Record for the shortest amount of time to watch 9 CFL games. Am I right? Have I got that right? And how's it going?
That's right, Rod. And thanks for having me on the show. The only reason this has gotten as big as it has is because of guys like you and media really grabbing this story and rolling with it. When I started this out, this was just meant to be a fun thing to beat Bobby Dubois' record, traveling across the country, seeing the different stadiums, meeting fans, and of course, Canadian football. But it's really morphed into something much bigger than that. And that's really raising money to beat children's cancer.
Well, you've been to which CFL stadiums already?
So on this tour, we just finished Game 6. So we started in Winnipeg, zipped to Vancouver, Edmonton, and then we went to Regina, zipped across to Hamilton, and then Sunday zipped back to Calgary, and hopefully catching up on some sleep for a few days before we finish in the East with Montreal, Ottawa, and Toronto.
And I just read this story this morning, thank you to the Winnipeg Sun for the great job they did, that you're only going to beat this record by literally a few hours?
It's even less than a few hours. It's down to 90 minutes. And the only reason there's a little gap is Bobby started his record in the East time zone. I started doing it in Winnipeg in the Central time zone. So I'm hoping for a final good game between Winnipeg and Toronto Saturday night, but no overtime, please.
Well, I hope, oh my God, so the fans got to be watching for you. Have you been on the TSN broadcast yet? And if not, I hope they're going to get you on.
Yeah, TSN's done a wonderful job picking up on it. It's sort of, people are following along, playing a Where's Waldo, Where's Chris at each game. And really, we want this not to be about one person. We want this to be a collective effort by all the Canadian football fans across the league and just to have fun with it. And they've been really generous and fantastic so far.
Wow, there's so many wonderful things about the CFL, but I think one of the things is it's an intimate league. And when they get behind a cause, everybody gets behind the cause. But as I said, I mean, this came on my radar because you don't have to, what should I say, cause a few wrinkles turns into waves in the CFL if it's a positive story like yours. And again, Bobby Dubois was the guy who had the record? Bobby Dubois, am I saying that right?
Yeah, you got his name right. He's a BC Lions fan, lives out in Vancouver, and he has been fantastic in support. He'll always be the first. He'll be the one that sort of created the record. And if I beat him, then great if we get the record. There's going to be other fans that try to beat it in the future and in future years, and that's okay too. We just want the legacy of really what the cause has become on this to carry on in the future.
But the quote I saw from him, I don't know the guy, but I laughed. He goes, Chris at least has put it towards a good cause. He goes, I was just an idiot trying to set a record, which I think is hilarious. So why did you pick CFL Fans Fight Cancer as the benefactor of this? I'm assuming you have a connection to it.
Absolutely. So I've been fortunate enough, like you, Rod, to see many Grey Cups. This will be my 28th in Vancouver this year. And the CFL Fans Fight Cancer is just a grassroots effort by CFL fans. There's no corporate sponsorship. The CFL sort of does their own thing. But these are the fans that come together. And depending on the host city, a group in that city decides which charity they're going to choose. And each year, it's just fans donating and doing barbecues and trivia concerts and raising money any way they can. And it's a small drop in the proverbial bucket, but it really gives fans and people something that they can feel a part of.
Well, and that's why I say on this show, for 2 hours, we try to make people feel good and do good things because there's so much ugly stuff out there. And there was a lot of information in that Winnipeg Sun article about CFL Fans Fight Cancer raising $100,000 over the years through, as you said, grassroots efforts. I was morbid curiosity here. Saw on your Twitter byline it said, ex Blue Bomber and Jets fan. I thought that was funny because I thought once a Winnipegger, always a Winnipegger. What? You're not anymore? Not fans of those teams? What?
No, I'm still a fan of both teams. I mean, I would be wearing blue and gold if I wasn't team neutral for this journey. I think the X is more, I left Winnipeg, moved to Ottawa after university, and I was an ex-Pegger at that point. And when Twitter was starting out, coming up with handles, that's what it was. And it kind of just stuck through the years.
Okay, makes sense. Well, the name Tymofichuk is as Winnipeg as it gets. Am I saying that right, by the way?
You have got it right. And I have to say it's probably the second most popular question that people come up to me and ask after where can I donate? But we've had fun with it. And most people seem to pick it up pretty easy. You've got it 100%.
Well, born and raised on the prairies. I know my way around the Ukrainians. Well, that would be number one. Before we get to how can they donate or where, I've been part of fundraising efforts too and causes, and people want to come up and share their story. I got to think you've had a few stories shared with you out of the blue on this tour. Give me an example of one.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I could spend 2 hours on your show talking about how many people have come up with personal stories. There's a few that stuck with me. In BC, a lady came up, she put money in the bucket and she said, "I'm going for surgery on Friday. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it." And you kind of take a step back and you realize what's important, right? The record would be great, but how people are pulling money out at these times, tough economic times, you know, not many people carry cash, and the people have just been stuffing the bucket, as I put it. It's been a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. In addition, I've received random messages from people who have reached out saying, "I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing awareness." And I think everybody's been touched by cancer, whether it's directly through friends or family. We all deal with it. And we're just trying to do a small effort that hopefully makes life better for the kids and others with cancer.
Sure. I mean, I've been touched by it, but what I also know because of that, I'm not afraid to talk about it. I know how important it is to talk about it. Shouldn't be a secret. You know, and like you say, you got it right. You're not, you almost feel bad that your name's on this, which you shouldn't, Chris, because you're working your ass off to get this done. So I'm still saying kudos to you for doing it. But where can people donate? I got to think it's not just the bucket at the games. Is there an online place they can go, or what would be the best way to do that?
There is. And I like to say I'm just the guy that holds a bucket. That's all I am. The legacy of this is going to carry on long beyond next weekend when I'm finished. But they can donate at childhoodcancerresearch.org. They can go there. There's a link that will show the CFL Fans Fighting Cancer fundraising. And to date, you know, we had very low expectations. Last year, the Hamilton group raised $40,000. The Vancouver team said they're going to beat that number. And right now, we're up to $15,000 already. And that doesn't include the cash donations yet, as that'll be added to the kitty, if you will, once the final game is over. So we should be halfway to our goal for sure by the end of this weekend.
Awesome. What do you do for a living, Chris?
Well, luckily right now I'm temporarily retired, which has allowed me to take this time and travel without work getting in the way. We'll figure out after the trip if I want to get back into that workforce. A little break from work has been really, really good, and I'll see if I can find a way to extend it for as long as I can.
You're a professional CFL fan and fundraiser. How's that sound? Put that in your Twitter bio. That's not a bad job to have.
if there's an opportunity to continue this, Randy Ambrosi, hey, I'm all ears. Get in touch with me. We'll figure something out that works for both of us.
Right. And hey, going to be a World Guinness Book record holder as well. Thanks for what you're doing, Chris. Thanks for coming on today. Good luck finishing it off.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris Tymofichuk joining us as he attempts to set a Guinness World Record for the most CFL games attended in the shortest span in all 9 cities. Love it. We'll be right back with your comments. We got some great ones today, as always, and a sports update. We're live on Game Plus TV, Key Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Professional basketball is back in Saskatchewan. The Saskatchewan Rattlers are heating up. Catch them live at SaskTel Center in Saskatoon from May through August. The team is packed with high-caliber talent from the NBA, NCAA, and professional leagues around the world, with a head coach straight from the LA Clippers. Secure your seats now on Ticketmaster, starting at just $20. See you in the Snake Pit.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
What do you say, guys? Has this been the fastest hour in RP show history? It feels that way to me. Just throwing in the comments here about the Olympics, NFL training camps opening, hockey notes. What's your favorite Saddle Dome memory? It's going to be around for 3 more years, right? 3 more seasons. So, but still, with a new rink being announced yesterday or Monday or whatever, we're talking about what's your favorite Saddle Dome memory, so we'll get to all of those. With regards to the Olympics, Chris in Heidelberg, Ontario, watching on Game Plus TV, says, like you, I love the rowing. I also love the wrestling, shot put, and discus. He says, I love watching the sports you don't see very often outside the Olympics. I tried wrestling as a youth. It lasted one day. Jim in Balgoni, Sask. Morning, RP Nation. I love the cooking analogy, Moose. What analogy did he use? I wasn't listening. He says, putting Olympics on simmer on the back burner and crank it up to full power, closer to go time. Okay. Tyler is in Regina, Sask. He says, I think I saw Arash Madani on your show talking up a female swimmer that has so much potential. That would be Summer McIntosh. She's been repping Canada in international events for the past number of years, and now she's on the biggest stage. Woo! I'm getting excited. Darcy in Grand Prairie, Alberta, writes in. He says, the over-under on gold medals for Canada is 6.5. I got over. I think it's a total overall medal count is where we're at now, right? This isn't Ricky Bobby territory. If you're not first, you're last. Jake and Bake. He says the Blue Jays should only trade expiring contract. Too big a market for a teardown. And regarding the Dallas Cowboys, he says Dallas should trade Dak and go with Trey Lance. Spend the extra dollars on the rest of the team. The 49ers model. I guess. I just don't know. I just don't know what's the way to go with the Dallas Cowboys. They're a conundrum wrapped in a riddle. If the 49ers gave up on Trey Lance, I'm not sure that we, as the Cowboys nation, should be putting our eggs in that basket. Sports update. Kelly Larson broke a tie by scoring from the lane in overtime to give the Miami Heat a 120-118 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies and hand the Heat their first NBA Summer League championship. This was the highest scoring game in championship history and just the second one to go to overtime. The Miami Heat won the NBA Summer League championship. And I want to talk with Moose about this next hour because he said it's been on his radar. It's on mine. It's on television. So we're watching it. And the only reason I didn't watch the game, but all my South Florida friends and people that I follow on social media were celebrating this Heat Summer League title. And I'm like, I guess a title's a title, but it doesn't seem to me like something I would be celebrating too lustily. But why are we hearing so much about it? Sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. In Landmark Cinemas now, Twisters. This summer, the epic studio disaster movie returns with an adrenaline-pumping, seat-gripping, big-screen thrill ride that puts you in direct contact with one of nature's most wondrous and destructive forces. From the producers of the Jurassic and Indiana Jones series comes Twisters, a current-day chapter of the 1996 blockbuster Twister. In Landmark Cinemas now. And also brought to you by the Golden Ticket Sports Center. Join the action at the Golden Ticket in Moose Jaw, your hub for sports, fitness, and community fun. Check out our website at GoldenTicketSportsCenter.com. Hour 2 coming up. Dutch Ionetti, the owner of the Fort McMurray Giants, is going to be with us in our weekly WCBL Round Up. Lots of fun stuff coming up after this brief pause.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
But the team has been bad. Like, we had fun moments, but they still lost. So I think coming up to the deadline, they probably are going to do something. I would assume sell.
Well, winning is still important. You hear that? Winning is still important. You can go to the games and have fun and catch home run balls and eat hot dogs, but it would be nice to win.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. Howdy, everybody. Welcome up inside your favorite daytime sports talk show airing across Canada. On the Game Plus television network, we're carried in 31 U.S. states as well, but we stick to largely Canadian topics, and that includes the NFL, which we're going to talk about a lot here. Please bring the moose in. We are the most interactive show on television, radio, or streaming. Darren, you know that. We've got a couple of topics on the go, which I'll recap here in a second. And also, I'm going to throw a third. I really want to know, this might be a good poll question. What's your favorite hour, viewers? This is for my own curiosity. What's your favorite hour, viewers? Hour one, where we talked about last night's sporting events and the top stories of the day, or hour two, which is a complete yard sale. Everything's on the table in hour two. We talk about what happened last night, what's coming up tonight, sports topics. What do you like better, everybody? The formatted hour one or the dog's breakfast that is hour two? What do you like best? And the topics are these. With the shovels going in the ground and beautiful Scotia Place being unveiled, or at least they started construction on the new home of the Flames in Calgary, Scotia Place. What's your favorite Saddle Dome memory? Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in and he says, my favorite memory was my first NHL game. February 1983, 3-2 win by the Flames. Who'd they play, Jeff? Brent, my guy in Wellington, Florida, writes in, and I don't want to be that guy, but Brent gets it because we're super tight. He goes, the Red Stash hoisting the cup. First-class guy. That was in Montreal. That wasn't in the Saddle Dome because Mark Steven just said yesterday, it's unfortunate they haven't won a Stanley Cup yet in that rink, and it doesn't look like they're going to. So that's one. And then two, what are your favorite Summer Olympic events that you're going to be watching the most? Because it gets going on Friday with the opening ceremonies. Buffalo Bill writes in from Juneau, North Dakota. He says, I watch for the very attractive Olympic women's event. At least he's being honest. He's a red-blooded American. He's saying he watches for the swimming and the beach volleyball. I'm not sure. There's lots of folks for that, too. There's no wrong answer. What are your favorite events? Darren, what's your favorite hour, 1 or 2? Let's start there.
I'm a big fan of the opening segment of the show. I think that's my favorite. Yeah. Hour 2 is great because we have a lot of fun in hour 2. But I like that opening segment of the show.
Okay, cool. Well, my guy Peanut Butter Pete says to me that his favorite segment is segment 1. He goes, I don't need to watch SportsCenter. Why waste 60 minutes? You cover it all in 20. How about that?
How about that? How about that?
John Ohm says the movie Twisters was decent. Me. Michael Gregory's watching down there in Louisiana. He says, I saw Twisters last night. It was good. I think I'm going to take Gunny to the movies tonight, Darren. I'm going to go on a date. Me and Gunny. He doesn't know it yet. And we'll go to Twisters tonight.
Are you
By
going
the
to
way,
share
Brent
popcorn?
in Florida said, none of your business. Brent in Florida. Who doesn't like a good yard sale? That's what hour 2 is, a yard sale. Kim Hansen says, hour 2, always more CFL talk. Yeah, that we didn't have any in hour 1. John Ohm says, both hours, Rod, but I do like unscripted. There is far more audience participation in hour 2, so I think that's why they like it. But I want to know. Bomber Boy writes in from Calgary. He says, the fan interaction is why I come back to the RP show. That's why we're different than all the other shows, right? Jeff in the Zone says, I like hour 1. Kim goes on to say, my favorite memory is in 1989. I took my 12-year-old son to a playoff game. We sat in the nosebleeds and Calgary beat the Habs. Signed, Kim in Calgary. We've got so many Calgary viewers that I know that's part of the big reasons because we spent so much time there the last couple of years. I got almost as many Saddle Dome memories, I feel like, as Brand Center memory moments. And people are going to say, oh, how could that be? Or Agrodome memory. I'm serious. I went to college there. And, well, even before that, we went to the 1988 Winter Olympics. I remember watching Team Canada. My dad bought us tickets. It was me, Dad, and Mom. It was our last road trip together as the three of us, as I was about to graduate high school. And it was the last road trip for us. Sean Burke was in goal for Team Canada. It was amazing. You know, how do you not remember that, right? Then I get into college in 1990. The Flames were hot. They owned Calgary. They still do, but they really owned Calgary then. And I remember we're so high up, it was $10 tickets. They'd load a school bus at Mount Royal College and take us to the game. We could only pick out the goalies, and the only player was Theo that we knew because he's buzzing around like a jitterbug out there. Very easy to pick out Theo. Nobody else could we see because you're so high up. And then I said with Mark Steven yesterday, the 0-1 WHL playoffs, us losing in Game 7. Pats at Hitman. Pavel Brendel scoring in overtime, sending us home. And 46 days we had to wait for the start of the Mimmer. The 2012 World Juniors I broadcast on Sportsnet Radio. That's a lot of memories for a guy that didn't live there. I guess in college I did and stuff, but, you know, it's sad to see it go. And there are still people. There's a lot of people in Calgary that think they could squeeze out a lot more years out of the Saddle Dome. But the NHL's moving on and saying, you're done? And who doesn't like new things? Have you seen any of the coverage of the new rink, Scotia Place? Have you seen? You must have.
Yeah. And my worry whenever a new rink is unveiled is, you know, one of the great things about arenas that I know growing up, and you would know, they all had identifiable trademarks, and they all, you know, you knew when you were in this rink or that rink, right? I don't want to, you know, if you take the banners away and the logo at center ice and the logos on the wall, you should know what rink you're in, and you always knew you were in the Saddle Dome. You always knew, so I hope there's something like that. And the renderings that I saw, I was actually quite impressed with. I actually like what they did with the top, with the kind of flaming thing around the top. And there will be some, and inside all red everywhere. It looked pretty cool. So I'm impressed so far.
Okay, people agree or disagree with me. Because I feel like when you turn on a television set now, you don't really know what the rink is. Because the rinks are all largely the same. Now, stop me. I might be wrong. Like a Leafs game, everybody's wearing blue Leafs gear. No doubt. Turn on a Flames game, everybody's wearing red. Turn on an Oilers game, everybody's wearing orange and blue. So I might be wrong about that. But just in my era growing up, the second you turned on the television, you knew it was Chicago Stadium, Boston Garden, Maple Leaf Garden, Montreal Forum. It was a no-doubter. And even ballparks were that way. And I don't feel that's the way that it is anymore. But I might be wrong. But in the NFL, when you turn on a game, you know where it is. Largely, everybody's wearing the same color in the stands, right? You know it's Cowboy Stadium. You know that it's Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, I think. So anyways, those are some of the topic. Kirk in Toronto writes in and says, "Hi, Rod. My favorite hour is 1 and 2 on Football Fridays." That's the thing. Kim in Calgary said more CFL talk in hour 2, but Fridays are all CFL talk, at least during the NFL or CFL season until NFL starts. And Kirk says, "Hey, Rod, any word on where Chris Jones might be headed? Toronto might be a good fit as their defense is run by committee." All I know is, after talking to a football guy on the weekend, was that Jones has his next job lined up. But I don't know. I got to make this very clear. Put up subtitles if you want. I am not going to be the insider guy in any regard in any sport anymore. I had somebody text me, a CFL player's dad text me the other day and say, "Who's going to buy the Elks?" I'm like, I don't know. And I'm not even poking around. Because I will say, I've talked to Dreger about it, one of the best NHL insiders. It pisses people off, man. It pisses people off. And I'm not here to piss people off anymore. I don't care. Breaking the Ken Holland story with the Oilers, I hear they're still mad at me for breaking that. I was just doing my job. But it ain't. I don't know where Jones is going. The guy that texted me that was kind of leading that I would know or wanted to tell me. I'm like, I don't want to know. Just so you know, if I made that clear to you, Darren, I don't want to know. Don't come here for inside news. We'll just discuss the news as it breaks. The business has changed in that regard. Used to be teams would respect that you broke the news. Now they cancel you. Not this Cowboy. Thoughts? Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about as far as to cancel you, but it is a much different business. And, the teams want to release it. And you know what? Let the teams release it. I'm fine with that. I mean, at the end of the day, what makes the show great? What makes what we do great? It's our commentary on all of the issues.
Right. So I don't know where he's going. It's a decent topic. Sorry, all these hockey players are coming in here today, which is another thing. I'm just going with the flow. I didn't expect to be in Moose Jaw this summer. I darn sure didn't expect to be calling WCBL baseball, and it's been great. But now there's this hockey camp going in here this summer, Darren, and all these players. Listen, I'm minding my own business. You can talk about how things have changed. I saw these kids walking in the other day. I wasn't sitting at the table here. I was in shaking the dew off my lily, if you know what I mean. And I'm coming back out, and these kids were like, "Oh, that's a podcast setup." To me, it's not that big of a deal to have a podcast. Everybody's got a podcast. It's a television show and a radio show. But it's a podcast. And now they all come up and say hi every morning. So I ask them where they're trying out this year. What are their chances? What's their hockey history? And I'm meeting all these young hockey players. I've become my dad. And I'm pretty darn happy about that. So probably my greatest Saddle Dome memory, I've told it many times, was standing there with my dad when Doug Sauter was giving us kind of an unofficial tour of what that rink was going to be like when it was half built. That's a pretty damn good memory to me. I was 9. Bill Edwards in Regina writes in, he says, my favorite Saddledome memory was meeting a young fan in the accessible seating area who remembered us from the year before. She had a small Leafs trinket to show us and was thrilled when she ran into us. Best memory from that rink. Isn't that funny? It's all about the people. Brent from Florida says, was Theo's famous knee slide celebration in the Saddledome? No, it was in Rexall Place, Northlands, or whatever the hell they were calling it at that time. It was in Edmonton. I'm pretty sure about that. Jeff the Stamps fan says, it is sad because the Saddledome is one of the symbols of Calgary. Move on. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Move on. I will say this, Jeff's right, though. The new rink, Scotia Place, is not as iconic of a exterior as the Saddledome, but not many arenas are, man. As they say, whoever designed the Saddledome either should have got an award, or recently you could say should have got life because it screwed them for all the concerts and everything they can't get. Now, who's the idiot that designed this? Back in the day, it was world famous. Times change, bro. What do you think of the iconic nature of that? Like the Maple Leaf Garden or Scotiabank Arena doesn't really blow your skirt up. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. And I miss that. You know, anytime you can have identifiable marks and character, I think it goes a long way. Like you talked about football stadiums. You know what stadium you're in. SoFi looks different than AT&T Stadium, in Dallas. Looks different than, Hard Rock Stadium or with the Chiefs playing or the Packers at Lambeau Field. They're all different. I think that's cool. And I think, it's important that this arena doesn't just mirror what's in Edmonton or, some of the newer arenas in the National Hockey League. It needs to have some character and it needs to be Calgary's own. And I hope that they have that.
Yard sale. That's what we got here today. Kim in Calgary says, it's not sad. Calgary needs the new arena for many reasons. There you go. You fight it out with Jeff the Stamps fan. But I'll say this, every flippin' day, I'm grateful for the life that I've had. And you've been part of it now for 6 years. We go back, went to the Super Bowl 3 years ago now in L.A., and we're at SoFi Stadium. And Serena was taking the photos. And like I said, if you're going to build a new stadium or arena, at least make it look like a damn new arena or stadium. Like SoFi Stadium did not look like a stadium, Darren. I mean, it kind of does, but some of these things are just weird. And I'm glad that Calgary's finally putting a shovel in the ground, and it looks like it's going to happen. How many umpteen arena designs did we have in Arizona? And some just look like an office building. So, yeah. Ryan in upstate New York says, always like a good yard sale. So he's down for hour 2. These sound effects travel with me everywhere, by the way. John Ohm says, MLB and NFL have iconic stadiums. Hockey, not so much. No, Bell Center is just a big shoebox stuffed into downtown Montreal. Unbelievable arena. Fantastic and iconic, but nothing real special about it. And by the way, something about it's okay. Nobody cares. The Habs play there. It's a church. Buffalo Bill says he loves hour 2 for story time. No stories yet today, but the day ain't over yet. Load them up, everybody, whatever you'd like to talk about when we come back. Our topics are, what's your favorite Saddledome memory? What Olympic sports are you most interested in? I can't remember Darren's because I've had so many, but I said rowing, basketball, and table tennis. I'm obsessed with table tennis at the Olympic. Yours were what? Equestrian, fencing?
Yeah,
no, what were they?
Pretty much.
I
ended up talking about some of the great sports. But really, I'm a big fan of the track, the 100 and 200 meters. I'm also really looking forward to the tennis at the Olympics because Rafael Nadal and Alcaraz will play together. That'll be good. And Milos Raonic is back for Canada, and he's been injured for quite some time.
And you sold me on tennis that I'll at least be paying attention because Brooke Henderson's in it. I didn't know that. But also, 96 Olympics. Don Whitman calling the relay on the CBC. Donovan Bailey. The announcers have a big part of this, or at least they used to. I'm pretty sure they'll have some good ones. It's the Olympics, for God's sakes. We'll be back in a moment here, live on Game Plus TV, Key Radio, and streaming.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Hi, everybody. It's me, the champ. We're back. Episode number 1301 of your favorite daytime sports talk show is on the air. I'm here at the Golden Ticket Sports Center. Let's please bring in the Moose. I do have some NFL news, some fun stuff here, Darren. But before we do go any further down that road, I was asking the audience for their favorite Saddledome memory, their favorite Olympic events to watch. And John Ohm says, Rod, your favorite stadium or arena? I guess it is the Rod Pedersen Show. While I'm talking, think of yours, Darren. I had to think of this for a second. I really like Raymond James Stadium where the Buccaneers play, and I'll tell you why. It's smaller, it's intimate, park on the grass. It ain't too highfalutin. Hard Rock Stadium, where I go to one game a year because I sit in a suite with Gil Scott, the agent to the Stars. It's a pain in the ass to get in and out of Hard Rock. It's an all-day event. You might as well go to Tampa, Darren. Like, it's a little dangerous. Somebody got shot there last year. Remember the end of the season? I think it was when the Jets were there. Yeah, it's just, It's an iconic stadium when you're driving down the freeway. It's like, ooh, that's pretty cool. That's where Marino played. But Raymond James Stadium in Tampa is just not as bougie. And in Dallas, which is my team, imagine throwing a football stadium up, Darren, out in your pasture. That's Cowboy Stadium in Dallas. Not that I have anything wrong with pastures, but it's just on a gravel grid section of land. There's nothing special about it. Sorry, Jerry. So I'll say Tampa. And then NHL rinks, I'll be honest, I really love the old Gila River Arena in Arizona, probably because you could stretch out and lay down in the aisle if you wanted to. But it's beautiful, beautiful arena. When people crap on the rink in Arizona, the one where they used to play with all the bars and restaurants around it, I always got offended because I loved it. Vegas is good. One thing I don't care for American Bank Arena and Sunrise where the Panthers play is it's so bloody cold in there. And I took you in there, Darren. When were you there? You were there in April. Yeah. In the winter, it's so hot. The hotter it is outside, the colder it gets inside. So the problem is this. You're making a long hike from your parking spot in the arena in that hot Florida sun. Then you get inside to the coldest rink in the NHL, and you're sitting there all game in Sunrise, Florida. It's uncomfortable. So call me crazy. Everybody does. But it was for NHL, it was the old Arizona rink. And for the NFL, it's Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Do you have any?
I haven't been to too many.
Thoughts?
I think a lot of it comes down to the experience you have too. So for me, I'm going to go two arenas in the same city, and I enjoyed them both immensely. A lot of it was because of the crowds, me personally. But I'll go with Bridgestone Arena in Nashville and Nissan Stadium. Yeah. Like the fans of Bridgestone were really cool, and it's a nice new arena. Nissan Stadium largely sucks, okay? They're going to get a brand new stadium. But walking across that bridge down Broadway is really cool, and you get in there. Cool tailgate area. And then the Oak Ridge Boys play the song before the game too, the Code of Conduct song. So that's kind of fun little touch, and that's why I think it was pretty fun.
Were the Oak Ridge Boys actually there?
No, I think that was recorded at some place at some point.
Well, no. The reason it's a legitimate question. Couple things.
It could have been.
I totally talk about a yard sale here. Darren and I, this was my old job. I was hosting a sports trip down there, and Darren and I were walking. You wanted to go to the Titans game early, which I was totally okay with because you wanted to do the tailgating and stuff. I could honestly take or leave that, but it was your team. You'd never been in Nashville before, so let's go. And I was wearing Rider gear, right? I had to have been because people were like, Saskatchewan
it was
Rough
a baby
Riders,
blue.
Corey Chamberlain.
Wasn't it?
No, I was wearing I must have been wearing a Rider hat or something. Something that they knew that I was identifiable with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. And one guy was, you're right with me, so you know I'm not lying, as Larry the Cable Guy would say. If I'm lying, I'm crying, and I ain't shed a tear. Some guys, Saskatchewan Rough Riders, Corey Chamberlain, played at Tennessee Tech. Yep. Yeah. 5 minutes later, Saskatchewan Rough Riders, Ken Austin. He's from Brentwood. Or went to Brentwood because he's from Memphis. They all knew. People would think that they wouldn't know. They knew. Now, you're at an NFL game, so you would think they're football fans. Yes. It's pretty cool. Actually, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I found the Glendale Arena pretty empty and plain and utilitarian. I don't even know what that means. I'm just saying it was a nice structure, and I was very comfortable in there. But, I mean, I'm not a Debbie Downer like some people, like JTSF, Jeff the Stamps fan. If it's not Calgary, it sucks in his mind. But to be honest, the best arena in the NHL is the Bell Center in Montreal. The guy just dropped me this hot potato right in my lap. I had to think about it for a second. It depends on all of what you want. But in Montreal, 21,000, largest arena. Ole, 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 ole. When the Habs, it's not when they come on the ice. When they start coming down the tunnel to go on the ice, everybody's up and on their feet. It doesn't matter if they're the 32nd team in the NHL or the first team in the NHL. They don't care. They're behind their team. And every second, you got to be on the lookout because you could bump into Dick Urban coming around the corner. Or for years, Jean Beliveau's right there. Or Guy Carbonneau. Like all the alumni is around. And I'm like literally too old to care. Like I was with a CFL guy yesterday. I'm not going to tell you who or what. But he was saying how great it was that the Edmonton Elks brought back for their home opener this year an alumni list as long as your arm. And I got a very long arm. I got 37-inch arms, Darren. That's how long the list of alumni was. And the guy was like, there's nobody at the game. It was everybody you would want. Damon Allen, Matt Dunnigan, Willie Pless, Larry Ruck, Blake Marshall, on and on and on. I think Warren Moon was there too. And the stadium was empty. You want to go back to that conversation about windows? This CFL guy was saying that window might have closed. It's not like Edmonton's going to fold or anything, but it's going to take a mind-bogglingly large amount of work to get them. But you waited too long to get your act together. And all these teams, they crap on the alumni. They're just now starting to figure it out. Whereas my point is in Montreal and Toronto with the Canadians and Leafs, they never forgot it. That's all. Any thoughts before we change topic? It just takes me off.
You're right. Like, those things are important. And, like, you walk into those places. The Maple Leaf Gardens is a place I wish I would have got to, but I was a kid, and we weren't flying to Toronto to go to a hockey game growing up. But, you know, the Montreal Forum, you go in those places now, it's movie theaters and grocery stores. It's still cool. And it makes you think of what it would be like to be in there. And it's like the churches of hockey. Very, very cool stuff.
Flames do a great job with their alumni, a really good job with their alumni, but a lot of the guys live there. Not every team ignores the alumni, but just those that have, it's like the longer you go and ignore them, the harder it's going to be to bring it back. That's all I'm saying. Laverne in Swift Current writes in, this is a gooder. Laverne says, hey, Rod, I hope you're having a good day. Every day's a great day, Laverne. Are you kidding? He says, my memory of the Saddle Dome was when they retired Jerome Aginla's number 12. We all received a T-shirt on our seats when we were at the game. It was a cool night. Take care, signed Laverne. Here's one. Story time. Oh, squirrel. Norm Fong wrote me, Darren, the Hall of Fame equipment manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and formerly the Los Angeles Sharks. He says, Rod, my favorite part of the show is whenever you tell a story or two. This ain't, I don't know, maybe you like it. I could tell stories all the time. I think you people get bored of them, that's all. But we walked into the Saddle Dome, typical, back when I used to unload the bus with the team. As years went on, I don't unload the bus anymore. No. I remember carrying the bags in. You remember Dmitry Nabokov, the Siberian sniper, the first-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks? Maybe you don't. He was playing with the Pats. He always had a really good look. He wore a white turtleneck with a black suit. I started wearing that suit, that outfit, because it looked so good on him. Probably didn't look as good on me, but I remember carrying our bags in. We played in Lethbridge the night, or like the night before or whatever. We get in at 2 a.m, carrying our bags. Nabokov's looking around. This is with the junior team. Olympic Saddle Dome, home of Jerome Iginla. And that was like 96. I'll never forget it. Home of Jerome. Anyways, back then, that was when Chad Mercier was our goalie, and he had a really bad back, and he couldn't practice all the time. So I would put on the pads and play. Rich Preston was our coach. Rico can corroborate this, and he watches this show almost every day. He lives in the Calgary area. He's like, Roddy, get your pads on. Mercer's back's bad. I'm like, okay. So I always had it in the back of the trunk of my car. I would go out and skate with the pads. And Nabokov lined up 10 pucks. I must have told you this. He goes, you, me, 10 shots, 10 goals. Right. How many do you think he scored on me? The Siberian Sniper, first-round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks, I think he was 12th. Hey, Bobby. Bobby Bicep showing up for duty. How many do you think he scored?
8.
5. Come on.
Whoa. Nice work.
Might have missed the net on 4. I'm just saying. 5. That ain't bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Olympic Saddledome, home of Jerome Iginla. Why does that stuff stay with me 28 years later?
I don't know. Because it meant something.
That's a good thing that I got a show now to tell all these stories. We're going to break, Moose. I'll let you go. Any final thought? Okay, this is what I was going to read. We got totally sidetracked, but we have a minute to read it. Patrick Mahomes has separated himself from all other quarterbacks. The 3-time Super Bowl MVP was a unanimous choice by the Associated Press for the NFL's #1 quarterback in a preseason poll. A panel of 8 AP Pro Football writers ranked the top 5 players at quarterback, basing selections on current status entering the 2024 season. Mahomes won. Who do you think's 2? I got it here.
Josh Allen.
Yes. Number 3?
Lamar Jackson.
Yes. Number 4?
Joe Burrow?
Yeah, Joe Cool. And number 5 you won't get. I don't think you'll get, but I shouldn't be presumptuous.
I'm going to go off the board, and I'm going to say Jared Goff. But I'm between Goff, Jalen Hurts. Oh.
See, just stop. Nobody would have said C.J. Stroud. Nobody. Outside of Houston, Texas. But these guys did. Okay, thanks, Moose. You go have a great Toronto day.
I will.
We are heading on up to Fort McMurray when we come back. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Sounds like he knows what he's doing a little bit.
As long as you're entertained. Aren't you entertained?
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
You betcha. Back live on the old RP Show, brought to you in part by EMJ Marketing. Connect with thought leaders and industry experts through EMJ Marketing's Speakers Bureau. They'll find the perfect keynote speaker for your event. Check them out at emjmarketing.com. Every week on Tuesday, we do the Western Canadian Baseball League Round Up, and this week we're heading on up to Fort McMurray, Alberta. The owner of the Fort McMurray Giants is Dutch Ionetti. Joins us from the ballpark today as they are home tonight to the Edmonton Prospects. Dutch, welcome to the RP Show. How are things in Fort McMurray today?
Things in Fort Mac are, we're doing pretty good. I mean, we have some smoke kind of affecting what we're doing up here, and, it's up fairly high, so we've already rescheduled the game that's supposed to take place tonight with the Prospects to tomorrow.
I'm glad I had you
play at 4. Yeah, we're going to play at 4 p.m.
Okay.
tomorrow, do a 7-inning game and a 9-inning game.
Okay, breaking news today. They postponed the game because of smoke. Take care of everybody out there, Dutch, which I know that you will. I'll say this. I feel like I saw you roaming around the All-Star game, All-Star weekend in Okotoks. Did I see you there?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. But Andrew Swaggers was there to... Yeah, general manager was there, and like I say, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make the All-Star game.
You're a busy guy, but I got to say this, Dutch. Everybody was saying, Rod, you got to get to Fort McMurray. You got to see that stadium. It's so awesome. I was up there for football, and I think they call it Shell Stadium, but I didn't see the ballpark. It's kind of, it's big news up there. Tell us about your facility, if you don't mind, in Fort Mac, Dutch.
Yeah, Rod, it's Legacy Dodge Field, and it's been going since 2016 is when it officially opened, when we entered the league. So, yeah, amazing facility, completely turf, mounds, it's all turf. Facility is licensed for 5,600. We have like 1,725 seats, another 100 bar stools, 5 suites and a patio. So it's an amazing facility, one of the amazing facilities that we have in the Western Canadian Baseball League.
Especially Alberta. Believe me, us Sasky folk are jealous, and I hope that we can one day catch up. But I will say this, whether they're new or old parks, they're largely all full across the league. Why do you think Western Canada and these two provinces have really got turned on to WCBL baseball the last couple of years, Dutch?
I think the big reason is the marketing part of it. The hire of Mark Stiles, of course, was a long time coming for our league. I mean, for me, I thought we were the best hidden secret until Mark showed up, and the exposure that we're getting now since he's been our new hire, John Arcandia and his team done an amazing job in picking Mark. And I knew when they chose a Mark out of the other two candidates that Mark would do a really good job with us. I mean, he used to live in Fort McMurray, so I'm aware of Mark. I know Mark, and he's doing an amazing job for the Western Canadian Baseball League.
He actually says he's from Fort McMurray and always has. He considers it his hometown. So there you go. And that's why I'm involved with the WCBL, as a decades-long relationship with Mark. So there you go. Why are you involved in the WCBL? Dutch, talk about being an owner of the Giants, please.
Back in 2016, a friend of mine actually had put out a survey on Twitter of where should the next team come from to be in at that time. It was the WMBL, and a lot of votes were voted to Fort McMurray. And that's when I kind of got involved, when talks started that potentially there could be a team come here to Fort McMurray, of course, the beautiful facility that we do have. And so that kind of got talks going, and I got involved. And Andrew Bradbury was kind of the founder of getting it all started. And at that time, really, I didn't even know Andrew. And so that's where it started. And then I got involved and said, you know what? What a great thing to do is to give back to the community here in Fort McMurray and have our minor baseball look up to the college team, basically is what it is, and give them back, of course.
Well, good for you. What kind of owner are you, Dutch? Are you at all the games? Do you know the players, or are you kind of a hands-off guy?
No, I'm kind of a hands-on guy at all the games, especially at home. In the past, traveled a lot with the team. This year, not so much, but at every game at home. And, if the slushy machine needs a bit of juice to make more slushies, then Dutch is hands-on. Along with my wife, we're at every game. We're doing something. We're working. We're helping out to make sure that we give the fans the best experience.
Well, that explains why the franchise has been such a success. So kudos to you for doing that. And the other reason I asked was Peyton McDowell of the Fort McMurray Giants won the home run derby on Saturday in Okotoks, and I had the good pleasure of interviewing him after. And aside from him going, because he was spent after that, he was smiling ear to ear. Texas kid, great kid, and that's my thing that I love the most about this is the players. What a great young man to have representing your ball club.
Yes, absolutely. He represented Fort McMurray very well. Since he's been here, my son had was the Billet family of Peyton, and they enjoyed having him. He was a pleasure to have, and he can hit a baseball. And he always has a smile on his face, So, I mean, kudos to Peyton to win that derby. He was excited. And like when I seen the interview, I mean, smiled ear to ear, and amazing.
Okay, then he wasn't acting just for me then. I was like, this kid is just having fun. And his dad's following our show now. That's the one thing about this league. It's all positive. That's why I'm having so much fun this summer being involved with the league. And Dutch, before I let you go, now that we get down the stretch of the playoff drive and then the playoffs, give our viewers the best pitch why they should get out and watch WCBL baseball here in the rest of July and August.
Well, right now, I mean, we're sitting in fourth place, of course, and we're fighting for a playoff spot here, so we need the fans out to support the Giants, of course, and their energy really helps drive the Giants and give them a lot of energy. And like I say, we're doing a push here now to make a playoff spot. So Brooks is right on our tail, and we need to push hard, and we need the support of all of our fans to come out and support their hometown Giants and push hard, lots of energy, and that energy will push off to our players.
Fantastic summer entertainment, and it's a league that you can just feel good supporting. It's always been that way. That's not new. Dutch, thanks for your involvement. Thanks for the time today, and go Giants. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rod. You're doing a great job, and I appreciate you doing the interview with me. So thank you very much, and have a great day.
Thank you, sir. The owner of the WCBL's Fort McMurray Giants, Dutch Iannetti, joining us right from the ballpark, Dodge Legacy Field in Fort McMurray. All these stadiums are selling out, and it's just so much fun to be a part of. We'll be right back with Overtime. All of your comments, we'll wrap them all up. We got some great stuff going on today, live on the Game Plus television network, which airs all across Alberta. TELUS, Optic TV, Channel 924, Shaw Rogers Cable Channel 230, Saskatchewan, of course, SaskTel Max, all across Canada on Game Plus. Key Radio in Atlanta, YouTube Live, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
KS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Professional basketball is back in Saskatchewan. The Saskatchewan Rattlers are heating up. Catch them live at SaskTel Center in Saskatoon from May through August. The team is packed with high-caliber talent from the NBA, NCAA, and professional leagues around the world, with a head coach straight from the LA Clippers. Secure your seats now on Ticketmaster, starting at just $20. See you in the Snake Pit.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Got a good long 7 minutes. Producer Clark tells me here for the Overtime segment, brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. Hey, guys and girls, this is where your skills need to be worked on. It's too late to start working on your shooting in the season. You don't learn to swim when you're drowning, do you? Get down there and check out Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary and book your lane time and thank me later. They also got a licensed bar and restaurant for the parents. Go check them out, 28th Street Northeast in Calgary. There's a hockey camp going on right in here right now where they got shooting lanes. Don't let these guys beat you. And one girl in it in the camp, too. Talked to her dad the other day. Best Saddledome memories. Stacy, watching at Access World Headquarters, says, my favorite Saddledome memory is when we used to go to the morning skate and wait outside for autograph. The one time we got to meet Ed Whalen. Hello, hockey fans. How about Ed Whalen? By the way, don't feel left out, Winnipeg. Here's my favorite Winnipeg Arena memory. 1998 World Juniors, Canada, USA. And actually, it was Canada, Russia. I don't remember. But Roberto Luongo was in goal for Canada, whatever it was. You'll have to help me. Even that was a long time ago. But I remember, and you Winnipeggers can corroborate, it was so loud. I was standing beside Todd Ripplinger. He's talking to me. He's yelling in my ear. I couldn't hear a word. It was the loudest facility I've ever been in, Winnipeg Arena, for the World Junior. 98, Bobby Lou. David, number 1, writes in. He says, great show today. Help me drive from Dauphin, the home of Barry Trotz, to Verdun, home of the Oil Caps. Say hey to Serena's aunt and uncle while you're there, Dave. They live right across from the school. Ryan in upstate New York. Where did it go? I'm sorry. He said, I'm lost. He said he had the fortune of going on a school trip to Montreal and saw the Bell Center. I lost the comment, so I would just be BSing it if I tried to repeat what he said word for word. BW in Edmonton says, the new Calgary Arena, why only 18,000? They could sell more than Montreal does with their 21,000. You're from Edmonton? Zip it. Buffalo Bill writes in and says, great show. Great show. I agree. Sports update, the Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays at Rogers Center tonight. Toronto sits last in the American League East, 15.5 games behind the division-leading Baltimore Orioles and 10 games back of the final AL wildcard spot. Just for spits and giggles, let's see what they're saying in the poll. The poll question today is, what should the Blue Jays do at the MLB trade deadline? Buy, sell, or nothing. 80% of you people saying sell. 12% say do nothing. And 8% say buy. I don't know why you would buy.
Approved.
But I did, I saw Steve Phillip, the former Mets GM, on SportsCenter saying they shouldn't do anything. Try and squeeze out one more year with these young guys. The Paris Olympics open this week, and the USA is favored to win the most medals. According to a forecast by Nielsen's Grace Note Sport, the U.S. is projected to win 112 medals overall, including 39 gold. China is forecasted to win the next most with 86. Canada is expected to win 21 medals, including 7 gold. Two-time Olympic men's champion Andy Murray says he will end his tennis career next week at the Paris Games. Tennis at the Paris Olympics starts Saturday on the clay courts at Roland Garros. That's a stadium? I thought that was a guy. Roland Garros.
Oh,
see what we're learning, Clark? See what we're learning? The NFL Players Association is in high-level talks with the NFL about the possibility of extending the regular season to 18 games. NFLPA Executive Director Lloyd Howell told the Washington Post that while formal negotiations have yet to begin, he plans to discuss the issue with players soon. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell said earlier this year that he favors an 18-game season. And Joe Burrow and his surgically repaired wrist have been cleared for contact, and the Cincinnati Bengals star quarterback is ready to go for the opening of training camp on Wednesday. Sports Update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Every Monday is Seniors Day at Landmark Cinemas. Get more of the movies you love every Monday for less. Seniors enjoy 20% off the posted seniors admission price, and to sweeten the deal, receive 20% off their concession purchase too. So make Mondays your movie day because a great deal never gets old. Check your favorite Landmark Cinemas for showtimes and pricing. Bum, ba, ba, ba. Tonight might be the night. I think tonight will be the night that I get to Twisters. I'm really looking forward to that one. Ever since I went to Landmark Cinemas to watch Bad Boys. What was this last one? Ride or Die. And they had the preview on for Twisters. I'm like, I'm not missing this. Then I had to wait like a month for it. That was a real downer. Randy from Winnipeg writes in, he says, Jay's top brass moved up season tickets purchase for next year before the trade deadline. That's low. I guess that's a game of chicken. You're not going to give up your season tickets probably anyways. If you've had them for 40 years, you're not going to. So what does it matter? We'll have to discuss this tomorrow. Here it is, Ryan from Saratoga, New York. I had the fortunate circumstance to attend a game and go on a tour of the Montreal Forum for a French class trip when I was in high school. Oh, yeah, it's a movie theater now. It's a movie theater now, the Montreal Forum. We covered it all today. Thank you, John. I feel like we covered it all today. Thank you, John Ohm. What's your favorite Winnipeg Arena memory, John Ohm? I'd like to say that I have a favorite Winnipeg Stadium memory, but I didn't have any. That place was not hospitable to yours truly. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, right?
McFly, hello.